Well, we want to welcome everyone to another version of ELPCO Presents, a video series produced by the East Liberty Park Community Organization. We are interviewing the candidates for Salt Lake City's Board of Education Precinct 5 seat. There are 3 candidates in the primary election. We're going to get to know each of them through these interviews. The first interview we have is with Mohamed Baayd, who is a Salt Lake City resident. We're really happy that he has joined us. And should also mention that I'm Jason Stevenson, ELPCO co-chair, joined in this interview by another ELPCO board member. Jeff, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Jeff Larson. I've lived in the neighborhood for a long time, and I'm the East Emerson representative for ELPCO, and we're excited to be here today too. If I can just go right into it, and we can have Mohamed introduce yourself, talk a little bit about your platform, why you're running, and what you can bring to School Board Precinct 5.
All right, everyone. So my name is Mohamed Baayd, and I'm originally from Morocco, and I've been here in the United States about 20 years. Lived in several states: Florida, California, Illinois, Hawaii, and Utah. And basically, I've traveled everywhere. I came to US to live the American dream, and I am a father, and I am a Navy veteran, and also I am a husband, and I am a community member in our neighborhood here. When I say a community member, it's more like my relationship with the neighbors, parents, teachers, principals, and so. And for me, I am the first person ever in my family's generation to go and earn a bachelor's degree. Not only that, to go and earn a master's degree. And now I am thinking of going into a PhD program. So you can see how education for me is very important. It is not a something that I take easily, but it is something that I absolutely believe in. As some of, I know Jeff heard this before, I have started from ground zero. I came from Morocco with with associate degree in English literature and Arabic literature. And coming to US, I had to start from ground up because Moroccan education was not accepted. So I should have 2 PhDs by now. But when I came to US, I came with $400 in my pocket and pushed myself through to make it through schooling. And now I am so blessed to know that my kids are getting a very good education, better than I had growing up. And it makes me so humble to know that our state, and especially our city, Salt Lake City, is putting so much effort in making sure that our schools function in their best way they can. And so my platform is focusing on one, teachers. Teachers are the fuel for education system in this state and in the country and in the world. And there is no better time that we absolutely understand and appreciate what teachers are doing. We now understand, especially during this pandemic, it has like opened our eye. And the second group that I focus on are students, our children, your children, our community's children, all of American children. Those are the hope. Those are the shining beacon of our stable future. Without those children, we are just a machine that's running in circles. We need to make sure that those students are prepped well for future leadership. Doing so is going to help us so much as parents, as citizens of this country, as residents of this state. Doing so, it'll help actually bring some, make the American dream continue to live. That is how we need to make sure that those children can do. They are the vehicle, and teachers are the fuel. None of them can run without the other. That is my platform.
Thank you, Mohamed. We've got for that introduction and description of what you're focused on, we've got about 5 questions to walk through. We're
Yes.
hoping you can keep your answers to about 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes each, so we can get through them all.
You got it.
And I'll start off with the first question, and that is, returning to school will look a lot different in August here in Utah. What is your approach to both new ideas to continue in-person education during this pandemic and dealing with the likely loss in tax revenue and budget cuts to public education?
Okay. So in regards to returning to school, this is a critical time. And so first, I believe that we need to make sure the parents, our teachers are emotionally ready to get back into school. And especially because all of us are nervous, and students as well are nervous. And second, to make sure that we have a balanced way of figuring out how we're going to get in the classroom, spacing the students, also the mask, mandatory mask, extra cleaning materials so students will be able to wash hands. Also, the other thing too is the parents. So we need to make sure that the parents will have the choice in terms of like sending their children at school or doing an online education at school for their kids. So those are things very important. And so also the rotation, because we have teachers with high risk, and we need to make sure they are well protected and not exposed to COVID-19. And in regards to taxes issue, it breaks my heart when I see that, you know, taxes are taken from, money are taken away from school to be placed into some other things within the state. That is not right. People pay property taxes so that they can make sure the schools are, you know, ready to educate, ready to provide everything that's needed for the comfort of students and also for the comfort of teachers.
Got it. Thank you for those answers. Jeff, you've got the next question.
Yes. So you talked a lot about how teachers, are the fuel. How will you work, during, if elected, to retain effective and excellent teachers that are already at the Salt Lake School District?
Okay. So for teachers, the way to keep and maintain teachers is to make sure they are taken care of. And by that, I mean financially. They are out there taking time from their family and their living so that they can teach our kids. These are people whom we are counting on 100% to make sure that our kids are out there at schools and they are also out there, feel like they are appreciated in the community and the society. And also the other thing too is in regards to trainings that are provided to the teachers. I have talked to teachers who sometimes said they are doing trainings just because it is a curriculum that they have to go through. That is not fair to the teachers. If we are going to be doing some training, let's focus on training that will benefit them and will benefit the students as well. Let's just talk, for example, about all the current, issues that are going in a society. How wonderful it would be if like a teacher would be able to reach out to the school board or reach out to Salt Lake, Education Association and see how they can like provide them with like more in-depth courses and how they can help student in understanding the current racism situation that's going on, the racial injustice. It is good for kids to know about this early. It is not fair that if we can keep them like in the shadow, and then later on they'll be shocked. Who can do this? Our teachers. We have to appreciate them. We have to show them that without them, these schools are not going to be functioning.
Thank you, Mohamed. For the third question, what would you do to advance the district's mission of excellence and equity?
What would I do? There is a lot to be done. That's for sure. As a parent, to make sure that we have very qualified teachers that will be able to educate our kids properly. And also to have very qualified principals that are like trained well with experience on how they can handle every challenge that are coming. The other thing too in terms of excellence is safety in schools. I am not for arming teachers. I am not for having anything that does with weapons in school to protect the kids. If I were to be elected, I'd love to push the congressional politicians. I would love to push them to like in every classroom we would have a safe room in the event of any attacks at school or so. I mean, ducking down, getting down on the ground and all of that stuff, it's not going to protect them. How wonderful would it be? Every classroom would have a safe room, and that safe room can only be accessed by someone from the school with a fingerprint or so. That's another important thing. As a parent, it frightens me when my kids head out to school and I have no idea if that will be the last time we'll see them. And also in regards to the other thing too is better in the classroom size. Currently, there are teachers who have too many students, and that is not fair for students nor for teachers. And if I were to be elected, I will work together with the other with the other school board members, and also reach out to Mayor Erin Mendenhall and work together with the other congressmen and congresswomen who have kids and understand the importance of education and help us in finding a way to fund a better system, a better education. We want to be first in the nation. And that cannot happen if we do not work together. If we are like just focusing on just me or so, it's not going to work well. There's going to be problems, there's going to be challenges, but the important thing is we're able to come to the table and communicate and come up with a compromise.
Great, thanks for all that. Now, on to question 4. What are you specifically going to be looking for in the new superintendent that the board will be hiring in June of 2021?
Okay. First of all, if I were to be elected, I am going to be so excited to see who I'm going to be involved in hiring. I mean, that is an honor to be able to be there and know the superintendent that I'll be involved in the process of interviewing and getting to school and and having them take the leadership of our schools of 24,000+ students in our in our district, in our area here. I mean, that would be an honor. What I look for into the superintendent is to have passion for teachers and students. because if the superintendent have those that will be able to find ways to go through maze challenges and all the political walls that they'll face to be able to find ways to take care of our school. I would like the superintendent to be able to find ways to get more funding to school, be more fierce out there. Don't just accept what's handed to us out there. Work together with the school board members in finding ways that we can actually even stop from getting schools into debt. I mean, this is a state that has so many resources. This is a state that has so many corporations. This is a state that has I mean, there is so much out there that we can find a way to take from and help our community and our schools. And also, I want the superintendent to be very honest in their doing. Honesty is a path of establishing a bridge between students, teachers, board members, and the superintendent. They're going to be leaders. I want them to be patient because there's going to be rough times and be able to find ways to negotiate methods and ways we can get better budget and better schooling spaces to our children.
Thank you, Mohamed. For the last question, could you tell us about some of the community organizations or agencies that you've worked with, specifically here in Salt Lake City, and what your overall approach to community collaboration is like?
Okay. Well, as a parent, I am involved in, co-oping in my kids' school. Since leaving Department of Veterans Affairs, my wife and I, we exchanged the roles at our home. And that gave me a privilege and an honor to be there at school and be able to see how I can help teachers. And not only that, work with students. It is such an amazing, amazing opportunity to be there, in the midst of it. And the other thing is, like, for me, having had the privilege of being for 7.5 years with the Department of Veterans Affairs and working hand in hand with the veterans in our communities to make sure that they are financially stable to take care of their families and their kids and so on. The other thing too is me, I was a soccer coach multiple times for our kids. And it is such a delight to see these kids. I'm teaching them, encouraging them, helping them be team members and all of that. And then when I come to school or when I run into them at grocery stores or so, and just that delight. Hi, Mohammed. I mean, it's just like it warms your heart that you see you are contributing in a way. Or another thing too is, like, for me going into school and teaching Arabic to kids. I mean, for them to be able to learn such a language, understand the culture, bring in food, sharing it with them, it is like it to me, that is an amazing thing. And that would be so fantastic if we would open more doors like that, get some refugees communities to come and be able to introduce, talk about their culture, talk about who they are, what they went through. All of those things are amazingly and helpful to our kids. And so as our community, we have a lot of job to do. One, to support to support the parents, to make sure that they understand when their kids go to school that they are safe, that they are well taken care of, by making sure we have like a better security systems that will allow the screening of every person that come in, not just cameras, because a parent can come in with we will recognize a parent, but no one knows what they're holding out there. And the other thing too is finding more affordable art programs for students. Like, for example, Leonardo Museum. That is a beautiful museum, but there are some parents that cannot afford that. What can we do to help those kids and their family to be able to go there and learn more about things out there? And also, or we could have things like in local level. Like, I love Ninth on Ninth Festival and what they do for kids to be able kids to be there, creative, painting, and all of that stuff. I mean, those are amazing things. So that's for me, parents, teachers, neighbors, leaders coming together hand in hand will absolutely pave a great path for our children and our community.
Well, thank you, Mohamed, for joining us for a couple minutes here to talk about your background and your ideas for the Salt Lake City School Board.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate all that you offered. Jeff, thank you for being here as well and providing your perspective.
Yes, thanks all. Appreciate your time and setting this up, Jason, and obviously your time as well, Mohamed, and all the ideas that you have going forward.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And this is a good time also to remind folks that it is a vote by mail election here in Salt Lake County and across the state. Ballots are arriving right now. You don't need a stamp to return your ballot in Salt Lake County, so you can fill that out and send it back. And you have to send it back by June 30th, by the end of the month. And Mohamed, is it all right if we put up your Facebook page and your email address at the end of this video so people could be able to reach out to you and contact you?
Absolutely. And if it is all right, I would like to take this moment to thank you for reaching out to me and be able to share my desire for what I'm looking forward into and why I'm running for this office. And it'll be an honor for members of our community to take it upon themselves and extend their vote for me, because I have lived it. I am an example of the true American, dream. And I am a person who went through so many hoops to be able to be educated and make sure my kids are educated. And I shall do my best of the best in working with all members of the school board, the superintendent, the congressionals, to make sure that our kids and our teachers and our schools are the best in the nation.